Hey guys, it's Ms. Gebhardt, and we're going to go through solving density tonight. So make sure you've got your foldable. Okay, so your little foldable, and had this on the front cover of it. Make sure you folded it. Okay, on the inside would be what this is. You'd fold it on the inside like that. Okay, so we're going to go through solving density, solving mass, and solving volume. All right, the first thing we want to do when we do these problems is we want to go over the definitions. And I know they're already on the foldable, but of course I just want to cover it to make sure we're good with this. So density is going to be the amount of matter in a given space. Okay, so I've got this mouse. Okay, if I'm looking at matter, I'm thinking of amount, a weight, and then if I think of space, I'm thinking of how much space it takes up. So it's how much weight is in this given space. And I'm going to use the following for us at least, units, grams per milliliter or grams per centimeter cubed. That's the unit we're going to attach to density when we solve it. So let's look over this density problem. It's a brick has a mass of 100 grams and a volume of 25 centimeters cubed. What is the density of the brick? So right now I'm solving for density. So I'm going to put the formula, density equals mass divided by volume. And you're going to get that because you're going to look at your foldable right there and it's going to tell you that formula. So density equals my mass, which they tell me in the problem, 100 grams, my volume, which they tell me, 25 centimeters cubed. 100 divided by 25 is, wait for it, 4. And we want to make sure we attach the units, grams per centimeter cubed. Okay, you must have a unit on it. Don't just put 4. 4 tells us nothing. What 4 of what? 4 calculators, 4 pens, let's see, 4 candles. What are we talking about? 4 of what? Okay, so this tells me density, that right there. Okay. All right, so let's look at the next one. The next one is mass. Okay, so mass is the amount of matter, amount of stuff in this stuff. Okay, amount of stuff I find in this mouse. Okay, and we're going to usually for us measure in grams. That's pretty much going to be what you see. You might see kilograms, but that's an offshoot of grams, so it should be, make sense with that. All right, so our problem. The density of gold is 19.3 grams per centimeter cube. If I have a nugget with a volume of 10 centimeters cubed, what is the mass of the cube? So I have to know what we're asking for. We're asking for mass, which is given right there. So I'm going to go mass equals volume times density, and I'm going to get that from the foldable right there. Okay, so volume, they so nicely tell me, is 10, and I'm going to put my centimeters cubed, and I'm going to times it by my density, which is given right up here, 19.3 grams per centimeter cubed. Okay, so if I take 10 times 19.3, I get 193. So now you're wondering, how am I going to find out the units? Well, I look right here. This is above the line. This is below the line. These two are going to cancel each other out. So the only unit that I'm left with is grams. Okay, 193 grams. All right, so last but not least, we've got volume. So volume is that space that this thing is taken up. So back to my mouse, I'm measuring it. If I'm measuring length and width and height and all that kind of stuff, even for our purposes, let me look at a notebook. Okay, very easy to measure length and width and height. That is the space that this mass is within. It's in this space. And we're going to use centimeters cubed or milliliters as our unit for volume. Okay, so let's look at the problem. It says, my paperweight has a mass of 50 grams and a density of 2.5 grams per centimeter cubed. How much space does it take up? So I want to know how much space. So that's volume. Volume equals mass divided by density. And right now, it's right here on our paper. So we search right there and you've got the formula. So volume equals, they tell us the mass right here. So I've got 50 grams. And it tells me my density, 2.5 grams per centimeter cubed. Okay, so what do we have in common? We've got the grams over grams. That gets rid of that, so we know that our unit's going to have to be centimeters cubed. 50 divided by 2.5 is 20 centimeters cubed. And that is the volume of a paperweight that has a mass of 50 grams and a density of 2.5 grams per centimeter cubed. So, how on earth are you going to remember all of those formulas? Well, this triangle is going to help you, okay? If you can remember this triangle, you don't have to memorize each of those formulas. It's right here in this triangle. Let me show you how it works, okay? If I want to solve density, okay, I put an X, I put my hand over the density, okay? I'm going to X that part out because that's what I'm solving for. I'm left with mass over volume. That tells me density. Density is mass over volume because those are what's left, m over v, okay? Let's say I wanted to solve for mass, okay? Ooh, give me a second. Pen. All right, if I want to solve for mass, I'm going to ignore that. I have d times v. They're right next to each other. So if I'm solving for mass, I cover up the m. I'm left with d next to v. d times the density times the volume. Okay? So then you kind of seeing where this is going. You're kind of picking up what I'm laying down here. The last thing is going to be volume. All right, so if I'm trying to solve for volume, I cover up the v, and I have m divided by d, because m is over d. Okay, that's all you have to do. If you know that triangle, you're good to go. Easy way to remember it. You all want to get your driver's license. Where do you go to get your driver's license? The DMV. That's how you remember it. DMV. You'll know all three of those formulas. All right, so last thing to kind of talk about is what to do when we solve a density problem. First, read the problem really carefully. Second, you got to know what's being asked for. So is it volume? Is it density? Is it mass? Third, write out the formula. It doesn't hurt you. I know all of y'all are quick math guys. Write out the formula, okay? And then plug in your values that you know. Fourth, calculate and solve for that unknown value. Fifth, write out your answer with the unit. Do not forget your units, okay? Hopefully, I've answered any questions in our little presentation about density, mass, or volume. We're going to have plenty of practice in class, so if you have any questions, save it for class, and we will definitely go over it as many times as we need to. But hopefully, after doing a couple, it'll make a lot of sense and kind of click with you. All right, so remember, ask questions in class if you have any. Talk to you later.